Have you ever felt, I don't know, just disconnected? Or maybe you get irritated super easily and your moods swing all over the place. For a long time, Dr. Lisa Collins figured that was just her personality. But then she made a discovery that changed absolutely everything. In her amazing book, The Truth About Trauma, she shows us that the real answers aren't just in our minds, they're in our bodies.
And right from the get-go, the book's foreword hits you with this powerful line. I love this. It suggests that healing isn't about pretending the cracks aren't there. It's about finding a way to break free because of them, or maybe in spite of them. It's about empowerment.
And here it is. This is the big idea, the one that changes the game. Trauma isn't just a bad memory you can't shake. It's not all in your head. It's a physical thing that your body holds on to, long after your conscious mind has tried to move on. Your body literally keeps the score.
Okay, before we go any further, we have to put this out there, and it's really important. This explainer is purely for educational purposes. It is absolutely not a substitute for real professional help. So please, if you're struggling, reach out to a qualified professional.
So if we really want to get a handle on what trauma is, we've got to start where it actually lives, not in the stories we tell, but in our actual physical selves. We have to start with the body.
Dr. Collins' whole journey started with her own experience, right? She felt this distance from people she loved. She had these wild mood swings out of nowhere, and just tiny little things in daily life would make her completely fly off the handle. For years, she just chalked it up to, well, I guess this is just who I am. Does any of that sound even a little bit familiar?
And then, boom, the light bulb moment. She was in a training session, and the instructor said something so simple. When we feel threatened, our breathing gets shallow. And right then, it all clicked for her. Trauma isn't just an emotional scar, it's a physical response. It's your body's survival instinct getting recorded, burned right into your nervous system.
Now, let's zoom out a bit, because when you hear that word trauma, your mind probably jumps to a few specific things, right? Like war or a huge disaster. But Dr. Collins shows us that actually trauma has a lot of different faces. It comes from all sorts of experiences.
So, first, you've got acute trauma. This is the one we all think of. It's that single, isolated event that's just shocking. A car crash, a natural disaster, an assault. It's a huge, one-time jolt to your entire system.
But then there's something called vicarious trauma. And get this, you don't even have to experience something directly. This happens to first responders, to therapists, to caregivers. It's the toll it takes to constantly witness other people's pain. Your own body can become traumatized just by seeing and hearing about the trauma of others.
And then there's this really big one, historical trauma. This is the collective wound that gets passed down through generations. It's the result of huge historical events like slavery or genocide. It's a kind of harm that can actually shape the DNA of an entire community, affecting people who were born long, long after the events happened.
Okay, so we know trauma is physical, and it comes from a lot of different places. But how? How exactly does it get locked into the body? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating. It's all about our brain's ancient survival code and the blueprints that were created in our very first relationships.
Okay, think of your brain like a car with two drivers. You've got your rational brain, the one that makes plans and thinks things through. But you also have your emotional brain, your survival brain. When a threat pops up, guess who shoves the other one aside and grabs the wheel? The emotional brain takes over completely. It's not about thinking anymore. It's about pure survival. React now, think later. And that survival code, it gets written in us from the moment we're born. Our very first relationships with our caregivers are what literally program our nervous system. If your caregiver was a safe, reliable base, you develop a secure attachment. But if they were inconsistent or scary or just not there for you emotionally, that creates a totally different blueprint for how you respond to stress for the rest of your life.
All right, I know that's a lot of heavy stuff, but understanding the problem is just the first step. And here's the really good news. Dr. Collins doesn't just leave us there. She gives us a clear, practical, and hopeful roadmap to healing.
So the healing path has 3 basic levels. It's a really clear process. Level 1 is all about the body, just learning to tune in and feel where the trauma is physically being held. Level 2 is the mind, starting to see how your thoughts and beliefs have been shaped by these experiences. And level 3 is about using specific tools and practices to reconnect everything, your body, your mind, and your spirit.
And if you're listening to all this and thinking, wow, this really resonates, you should know you are so far from being alone. I mean, look at this number. The World Health Organization estimates that a staggering 70% of people on the planet, that 7 out of every 10 of us, will go through at least one traumatic event. This is a human conversation.
So what can you actually do? The book is full of these incredibly helpful, tangible tools. Here are just a few examples. Things as simple as box breathing, breathing in for 4, holding for 4, out for 4. It sounds simple, but it's a direct way to calm your nervous system. Or using visualization. Or just spending time in nature. These are real, practical ways to start speaking to your body in a language you can understand.
So, we're going to end with the one question that is truly at the heart of this entire journey. After all of this, just take a quiet moment and ask yourself this. Because really, healing doesn't start with knowing all the answers. It starts with just being willing to listen. So what is your body trying to tell you?